Greetings and welcome, fellow subjects of the Empire, I suppose, to a new Let's Play, sort of. This is very much meant to be an in-between game, I suppose. But anyway, welcome to Let's Play, or Let's Briefly Play, Crying Suns, a game that I saw on GOG and thought, this looks like something I would enjoy. It's a procedurally generated rogue-lite game in the style of Faster Than Light, sort of. I mean, it is you are in control of a ship, but you're doing a little bit more commanding and actually just firing weapons. It has occurred to me that I know there's games out there with much rosier pictures of a future, but for some reason I keep getting drawn to games where the future is just some hellscape dystopia, in this case an empire that's fallen apart because the machines no longer work, because that's essentially the premise. All the omnis, or machines, that the empire relies on to remain functional have simply turned off. Yes, indeed they have, Tiki. And well, humanity is not faring too well with it. So essentially we're going to be playing a little bit. I have already completed chapter 1, but let's try that one again, but at least I know I can beat that one, because this game is quite tricky to learn. I am definitely not the strongest in these types of games, so there's gonna be probably a few bits of dying. And then in theory you could play this kind of game forever, but before we get onto the 1500th episode of playing Binding of Isaac, I'm gonna limit this to 25 episodes due to the schedule that I'm planning to put these in. Anyway, let's start up a new run so we can get actually acquainted with the game. We'll skip this. Just customize the crew and battleship and continue on, because you could ask him questions, and I do recommend you actually listen to the story, because it has a fascinating story and all that, but a little bit too long to get into now. And the basic premise of what Caliban is going to explain, I've just said. Alright, so I did unlock the Chaos class, which is basically a scrapper ship, but we will be flying the Excelsior class, the ship Caliban has said. Alright, so I don't think I can tell which chapter we are flying. Alright, so we're going to be flying the Excelsior class. We have 5 neon fuel, which is basically how fast we can travel, or how far we can travel rather, not fast. How far we can travel through a sector. We start with 45 scrap and 12 commandos, which is useful for things. The Excelsior class is well, fairly balanced as a ship goes. I mean, the Kaon class is definitely more attuned for other stuff. Yeah. Got more focus in the navigation scanner. No. I'm not entirely sure what if there's any bonus to flying the Chaos class aside from that you start with 7 Mark 1 drone boomers, which are patched. We will be starting with the Excelsior, which has a fighter Mark 1, 2 drones Mark 1, of one which is patched, which means damaged. And basically will... I mean, being damaged doesn't really affect its combat abilities, it just means that it's down 1 stage of damage, after which it becomes wrecked. And if it's destroyed after it being wrecked, then the unit is gone permanently, and you have to replace it. There's a rock, paper, scissors mechanic to fighters beat drones, and drones beat frigates, frigates beat fighters, and all that. And there's other types of ships as well that don't quite fall into this thing. Anyways, our ship is currently outfitted for 2 squadrons with some officer support. We have currently room for 1 weapon, which is our Piercer Laser Mark 1, which can hit anything, but isn't that strong. We have no real advantages other than that. We have basic hull types. And I've still not quite figured out the heat system, but it has something to do with damage. We are trying to not get damaged. And everything else is just normal. Let's pick our officers. Now, I have unlocked some officers, so that's why this row is being filled in a little bit. I've died a couple of times, but I had these officers, which means I have to wait until they regrow again. Otherwise, I'm just stuck with the regular ones. You can pick 2 officers per run. And it's up to you to decide which is the most useful. Well, what regular stuff do I have? I have 2 soldiers and 2 scientists. Alright, in that case I'll take Wheeze. And... let's go with Bertrand over here. These soldiers are randomly generated, so you don't know exactly what you're gonna get. Let's get going. Now we're starting in chapter 2. Because I have no idea how to switch back to another chapter, so we're starting here at the entrance. There's nothing to do here. We need to get over here. There's 3 sectors in a particular region, and you have to beat a sector boss in each one to advance to the next. It seems simple enough. Once we get to the last sector, we have to fight a boss, so we can unlock a fold gate, which allows us to move on to the next chapter. Simple enough. Aside from, you know, the difficulty of actually getting there. Now, these locations... nothing too spectacular. We currently don't have enough scrap to really take advantage of any stores, so army depots and shipyards are not really all that useful to us. Anomalies can be either good or bad. I have no idea, there's no way to know for certain, I think. And at each system, or each system that we get to, we'll get to recharge a little bit of fuel, depending on what's there. Now, we are looking for the ground singles, because those are usually missions that will be useful to us, but because of the lack of range in our scanners, we have no idea what is actually there. I'm thinking... Let's go to Talith, I think. Well... No, actually, let's go to Shara. Alright, we have one more free turn before the enemy starts chasing us. Alright, let's have Lynch, that is one of our squadron commanders, to go and investigate it. Yeah, she's probably not right. The repulse alarm was just the way they were floating out of the crate. Looked like they were, you know... Right away, sir. Alright, some free scrap. Yay! Right, now, this here is a Neo-N hypercube, which is basically a fuel facility, which gathers fuel from the nearby star. Most of these are pretty much drained, but because of our systems, we can scavenge some Neo-N from them. You usually get you're always guaranteed at least one, but that's not really much, because that's essentially what we used to get anywhere. So I need to assign some officers. You will help the squadrons. And my other officer is good with the hull plating. Basically any squadrons close to the hull will be repaired. Right, so we do have one anomaly single, we have enough fuel, let's go investigate. It's a battleship. Church battleship. I don't think blowing you up will help you enter the garden, but I don't think it will hurt either. Yeah, the church are a little bit mad. They're one of the factions. We have... The previous sector was full of scrappers who were basically just making the best of the bad situation, taking apart anything they could just so that they would have some enjoyment of their own, because they never had any enjoyment while the Empire was whole. The Church believes that the Omni shutting down was a warning from their lord. They worship the Omnis, basically. And them shutting down is basically punishment for their sins. And so they believe they must suffer in order to do stuff. And make others suffer in the progress. Yeah, they're usually eager to fight, but then basically anyone is eager to fight. Right, so tactical pause is on. This is because we are such a good admiral, we can actually pause time. Right, so it doesn't look like the ship has any weapons. It does have a frigate, which is patched. And it has two other squadrons. It has two squadrons, rather. And, which is basically just this one and another one. Probably drones. Alright, so let's launch our drones. And we have to wait until our laser is charged up, so let's go. Here comes our laser. And let's get our fighter craft over to... Actually, let's make sure you don't pass right by the thing. Right. They are dead. They will be able to relaunch once they're ready. Alright, so they're doing damage to our vessel, or to our ships while they are there. And we win. Yeah, the first battles are usually not that difficult. Alright, so this was a bad anomaly, or a negative anomaly. They can be good or bad. Alright, so the next sector over we have an abandoned auto factory, which is usually good for scrap and possibly neon and fuel, and two anomalies. Alright, let's go see. Civilian transport. Alright, let's ask how we can help. Yeah, unfortunately I don't have that. Do I want to spend commandos? No. No, I don't want to. Yeah, well, sucks to be them, I guess. Alright, let's upgrade our fuel scavenging because that's actually kind of useful. Now we have a little bit of extra chance to get more Neon N. 2 bits, not bad, but not great either. Because you don't want to get caught out without fuel. But let's go to the at least the important location. Alright. Yikes. Battle is imminent. This is a different faction. This is one of the noble houses of the Empire that has essentially gone rogue. And they may or may not attack you, but usually they're gonna attack you. They also have a magneto... Right. So basically they will force me to attack. They have some slight hull strength. I think... Yeah. I can't damage them with my ship's weapons. That is unfortunate. Alright, let's not launch into the asteroids here. This will make it moving difficult, but otherwise nothing too important. Alright, let's try not to get caught by the EMP. Alright, you head over there. Alright, let's go in. And we'll finish this battle. Ooh, and we gained a fighter. Neat. Alright, that'll do for this episode. Thank you all for watching. See you all next time.